All right, what is up, everyone? Welcome to the fourth episode of the Heart to Heart podcast. My name is Hafiz, and today we're going to be doing a deep dive into emotional intelligence. And so, what we're going to do is we're actually going to go through a book, get information from there, and then I'm going to expand on it and give my thoughts and opinions, and we'll take it from there.
Hey yo, you ready?
Please don't make this complicated. What about the time we wasted on our love? And I can't keep the things we traded.
All right, so real quick, the book is called Emotional Intelligence 2.0. Really, really good book. You could either give it a read yourself, or you could just listen through what might be one or two episodes, and you'll gain the knowledge from there. Ready to get started? Okay. Okay. So first off, the first thing that the book properly discusses, are the four skills to emotional intelligence, and what they are is self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. So how I'm gonna approach this section is I'm actually gonna tell you a story of a scenario that happened at work for me personally, and then I'm gonna analyze that interaction based off of these four these four skills that are required for emotional intelligence. Okay, so let me jump right into the story real quick. So I was a customer service rep at Canadian Tire, and one there was a scenario where a customer came in, right, and he was heated, he was angry, and like his family was around him too. So he walks up the escalator, walks up straight to the customer service desk, and just slaps the item down, just like just like on the table. He just smacks it. And I look at him like, "Hi, how may I help you today?" And he's like, "I want my money back," in like this loud, aggressive tone. I'm like, sorry, sir. Like, unfortunately, wait, no. Before that, I asked him. I was like, has it been used, or like, has it been open used and whatnot?" And he said, it exploded on me. And I was like, "I'm sorry to hear that." And he's like, "Yeah, you should be." And he's like, "I want my money back." And I looked at him like, I'm sorry, I can't do that because we have a store policy, and in our store policy, how it works is if product is not new, there's an exchange warranty, and there is a store credit as an alternative. So I told him that I was like, sorry, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to. I'm not going to be able to provide you with the full refund. However, I could provide you with an exchange, or a so like an exchange or a store credit. And he's like, no, I want a refund. I was like, sorry, I can't. And he's like, okay, let me talk to your manager. I was like, sure. So I call my manager over, and so my manager walks in, right? And he's like, hi. He looks at both of us. He's like, hi, how can I help you? And I didn't even say anything because I didn't get a chance to. The other guy is like, I want my money back. And the first thing the manager does is he looks at him. He's like, yeah, lower your tone. Don't talk to me like that. And he um, did. He did not talk to him as aggressively as he was initially. And then he's like, "Could you explain the scenario, the situation?" So the guy tells him the situation of how the coffee machine, coffee maker exploded, and the manager looks at me. He's like, "Was our store policy?" I think he just wanted to confirm it. And so I tell him it again, and he's like, yeah, unfortunately, we're gonna have to follow the store policy and whatnot. He's like, if you want, you could go ahead and exchange it with another coffee. And the guy aggressively, he's like, no, I don't want it. He's like, I want my money back. He's like, and then our manager says, you could look at other coffees that we have. We could get an associate to help you with that. And he's like, otherwise, unfortunately, I can't do anything for you. And customer finally comes to a stage where he's like, okay, sure, like I'll go and I'll check in, run the exchange through, and um, yeah. So what I want to do here is I want to analyze the four skills that were used by the manager. Okay, because I think the manager handled that situation really well. Okay, so the four skills are again self awareness, self management, social awareness, and relationship management. So let's start with self awareness. Self awareness is the ability to stay aware of your emotions in the moment and understand your tendencies across situations. So what that means is that you understand how you feel in specific scenarios, and you understand what causes and how to you understand specifically what causes your emotions to like change, or for you to not fully be in control of your emotions, right? And so in this specific story, the self-awareness was him walking into a situation that he knew was, well, it looked slightly different, right? It wasn't your average. You could tell by the energy that was there. So this is a scenario of him, understanding how he was feeling, and being aware of like his emotions as he was entering into it. And then comes self-management, right? And self-management is your ability to use your awareness of your emotions to stay flexible and direct your behavior positively. What that means in this specific situation is that he was aware of how he was feeling, and he was aware that he needed to control how he was feeling. He needed to control how he reacted to certain situations, right? He needed to make sure he wasn't in a situation where he was competing and battling with the customer, because, well, A, it's unprofessional, and B, you're not going anywhere doing that. So that's the aspect of self-management where you're aware of how you're feeling in this scenario, and you make sure it's sort of like a wall that you put up where you make sure that you do not let anyone else, or you do not let any other energy, any negative energy, or any energy that's unfit for what you're currently feeling or what you currently want to feel, where you do not let any of that enter, right? You're like putting up a wall, be like, no, like I'm not gonna match your energy. I don't like your energy. I want to keep my energy. I like how it is, and I'm not gonna let your words get into my head. That's self-management. And then it's social awareness, right? And social awareness is your ability to accurately pick up on emotions in other people and understand what's really going on with them. Now, in this specific scenario, right, the customer, assuming he truthfully spoke, was in a situation where the machine, well, exploded, right? That is scary. That is really scary. And so him understanding and sympathizing with the customer really did help calm him down, right? And it is also important to understand, like, if it was a situation where someone else like bought an item and they just didn't like how it looked, right? That's you would handle a situation like that a lot differently than a situation where someone's health, or um yeah, someone's health is at risk, right? Or other important factors to them. And so because of that, um because so what he did, right, in terms of understanding the severity of what the customer did go through, really, really did show his aspect of social awareness, right? And he also understood that he was heated, right? So when someone's heated, right, a lot of things will go by their heads because they're just trying to nail in one point and generally just trying to achieve one outcome. So it's a slightly different environment. And then relationship management. So relationship management is your ability to use your awareness of your own and others' emotions to manage interactions successfully. So this is the ultimate level. Basically, what it is you understand your emotions, you are able to control your emotions, you understand the other person's emotions, and you're able to control their emotions to a certain degree. And maybe not necessarily control, but manage and direct it to like a specific direction. Right. This is the highest level of emotional intelligence, and this is what honestly what all of us should strive to achieve. So how he did this was, A, by letting him vent, right? Letting the customer vent. It's a situation where the customer clearly um, felt a certain way about it, and understandably. But it's a situation where they felt a certain way about it. And as a result, what needed to happen was they needed to let it all out, just like let it out. And so what our manager did really well um, was let him vent, right? Let him speak it all out, and then relay what he could do, like what the manager could do in his situation, and offering an associate to help. So telling him, "I'll send an associate to help, find another product," would also make things, a bit easier for him and whatnot. But yeah, so these are the four skills of emotional intelligence. I'm going to run through it one more time. That's self awareness. Self awareness is the ability to stay aware of your emotions in the moment and understand your tendencies across situations. Self management is your ability to use your awareness of your emotions to stay flexible and direct your behavior positively. Social awareness is your ability to accurately pick up on emotions in other people and understand what is really going on with them. Relationship management is your ability to use your awareness of your own and others' emotions to manage interactions successfully. Now, when you're working towards achieving emotional intelligence, work on each of these a step at a time, right? And when you're working them a step at a time, make sure they're going in the order of self awareness, self management, social awareness, and relationship management. Because as you head down the ladder, um, so for instance, without social awareness, you're not going to be able to, sorry, without self awareness, you're not going to be able to have social awareness, right? And without self management, you're not going to be able to have relationship management. Without self management, you're not going to be able to have social awareness, right? And it's a level, right? So make sure you start with self awareness, then you work on self management, then you work on social awareness, and then you work on relationship management. And that's the hierarchy in terms of what you should be doing. Okay, so now let's hop into self awareness strategies, okay? So the first self-awareness strategy is to quit treating your feelings as good or bad, right? So pay attention when you feel an emotion begin to build. Remind yourself that labeling it good or bad is not helpful. Instead, think about what the emotion is trying to help you understand. How I see things is when you label an emotion as good or bad, what you're doing is eliciting a response, like a natural response, right? When you feel pain, right? When you get hurt and you're feeling a certain pain, your natural reaction to that is how do I remove this pain or how do I lessen this pain? Right. And unfortunately, if those two are not an option, how do I achieve another pain so I stop feeling this pain? Right. This is how we just function, right? And so what happens when you label emotions as good or bad is once you start noticing you have an emotion that you label as bad, your body starts reacting in a similar way that it does if you were to feel pain. Similar way in the sense that your body has a negative reaction that causes a ripple effect of negative emotions, right? It's like a never ending cycle where one negative emotion is going to lead to another like a negative emotion and it's going to lead to another, right? And suddenly you start feeling bad for yourself and you're feeling down and so on and so forth, and it just keeps going from there. And that's why if you do not treat your emotions as good or bad and you just treat them as emotions, right, all of them just as emotions, then you're going to be in a situation where you're not going to react according to the emotion, you're gonna react according to the situation, and I think that's a huge difference between, um that's a huge that's the huge difference, right? Is your reaction based off of your emotions, or is your action based off of, the situation, the specific situation that's, needed and whatnot? So number two self-awareness strategy is observe the ripple effect, right? So pay attention to how your emotions affect others. Ask others their view of how your emotions affect them. Okay, so pay attention to how your emotions affect others. So energy is contagious. Good energy is really contagious. Bad energy is just as contagious. So when you're feeling a certain way, right, and when you have a certain emotion that you're feeling and whatnot that you're expressing, right, it's going to be at a stage where that energy will be transferred to other people. Now, what I will say to this is if you are with someone you are comfortable, someone who understands your situation, I wouldn't worry too much about this. And someone who's what's it called, emotionally intelligent, right? If you're with someone like that, um, observe it. Definitely still observe the ripple effect, but don't be too hard on yourself because what's gonna end up happening is if you are not at a situation where you are able to control it, like mentally control it, as in tell yourself when to be um feeling good and when to not be feeling good. If you're not in that situation, what's going to end up happening is you're going to fall into a ripple effect, right? You're going to fall into your own ripple effect of negative emotions, and it's just going to keep going downhill. That's not what you want. So it's definitely important to be aware and to pay attention to your emotions and how it's affecting other people. Those are some very, very important things to pay attention to. Um, but also try and put yourself in a situation, try and surround yourself with people who are very understanding and who are able to be patient as you work through um, as you climb up the chart of emotional intelligence. Number three, lean into your discomfort. Ignoring feelings doesn't make them go away. They will resurface. Face them when they come and try to work through them. This is one of the more important ones, if you ask me, because when we tend to, and this is also tied to, or this also ties to, labeling your feelings as good and bad, right? So when you have a negative feeling, what you want to do is not feel it, right? You just don't want to experience it. So what you try to do is try to forget it, try to ignore it, just try to let it go away. But it doesn't. It never goes away. All that happens is it'll be put in the back burner for another time, and then it's gonna pop up then. And when it pops up then, you're gonna start feeling that. This is gonna continue to go on until you take care of it, right? And if you do not take care of it, you're gonna start reacting, and you're gonna start um, sending some of the energy that's the negative energy that's built up on you, and just like send it to another person who has nothing to do with it, who doesn't deserve to receive that type of energy. And so it's very, very, very important that you do take care of it. Um, Sometimes you just gotta let things be, right? If it's a difficult situation that you're in, you've got to identify a solution. And the easiest way to identify a solution is to break things down, to live in the now. Those are two very, very huge and important things. And just face them, right? As they come. If you let it pile up, it's gonna feel like a mountain, and you do not want it to feel like you're climbing an entire mountain. What you do want is, as they come, you take care of them, right? And taking care of them might mean you have a couple hours of feeling really, really down, but you do process it, you do accept it for what it is, and you do react accordingly, and take the steps forward. Moral of this story is running away from your discomforts, from things that make you feel uncomfortable, is not gonna solve it. It's just gonna put it in the back burner, and you're gonna have to deal with it soon enough in the future. And it's not gonna help you. That I'll say for a fact. It's certainly not going to help you. All right. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I really, really do appreciate it. And I can't wait to talk to y'all in the next episode. Take care.